Oh, let me tell you about the pain I've experienced from this accident from the start. It goes way back, almost 20 years ago. I was in a motorcycle accident. I was hit at 85 miles an hour on the impact and lost a lot of functions from the neck down. I had to be carried in to the doctor, and I remember being at Helen Ellis, excuse me, I probably shouldn't say it, at the hospital, and they come to the conclusion, for whatever reason, that they needed to put me out into the emergency room parking lot in a jacket and the cotton clothing that they gave me in the hospital. That was on a Saturday night. I remember that, and I remember not really understanding what was going on with me because I had a major concussion. The pain was masked by almost total numbness, but yet I had no feeling from about the neck down. And my ex-wife had known Dr. Mayer and had treatments there, and the following Monday morning brought me into the office, and he had looked at me and did some x-rays, and we talked for a little bit, and of course I really couldn't speak well. I had to learn how to re-walk, talk from my accident. All the basic functions that one might expect that a child would have to do, I had to do. And I was very athletic prior to the accident. So when this first happened, it took away my entire life. This went on for approximately a year before the feeling really started coming back, and it came back in burning sensations and then nerve endings and various, well, example, I had migraine headaches that would last for days on end. It wouldn't go away. My atlas and axis was turned and tilted the direct opposite ways. The atlas and axis attach your skull. Well, I learned this as I go on through the various things that I've done at the clinic. But what I didn't understand is it pinched the nerve to the point where it was not telling anything below what to do or how to do it. My upper circle of doctors, I was going into the clinic, and the adjustments started making progress. It was a slow transition in my case because of all the soft tissue damage. I was basically assessed every time that I came into the clinic, and they would make some readings on the x-rays and that they were taking on an ongoing, both, prior to treatment and post-treatment, and this went on for about 2 years. Feelings started coming back, and it was the most wonderful thing I ever experienced in my entire life. I was happy to have my arms on fire, my feet, my face, because that meant I was coming alive again. That meant I was going to actually be able to do something. The medical profession tells me a funny little thing about nerve problems, and how much of this is true I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, don't profess to be. But they tell me that's impossible. Once your nerves are gone, they're gone. You can't get them back. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. I'm here to tell you from personal experience that a cervical doctor changed my life and made it better. I became to the point where I was able to get up and walk. I had to learn to re-talk because I couldn't formulate a sentence. The mind was functioning, but the motor skills were gone. I couldn't tell you what I'm saying now. My mind would, but I was inventing a whole new language. But after this upper cervical tear had taken in and it made progress for me, I was able to put things together to the point where I learned how to ride a bicycle again. I learned how to do walks and be able to enjoy that. I went from being on a stretcher to a wheelchair, graduated to a set of crutches for a very short time, and found a walker was better for me. I did the walker for probably 3-4 months and graduated to a cane. And eventually, after about 3 years or so, I was without cane. I was walking on my own momentum. And this was a tough thing because you have issues of balance, vertigo. Vertigo is wonderful. It's probably my most favorite thing in this whole experience in my life. You'd be sitting there and all of a sudden you fall over and there's no reason for it, but you've got vertigo, they tell you. Well, the upper cervical doctor, after treatments, resolved that. That went away. These are things that the various other medical doctors that I saw said that's going to be. You just have to get used to that. And we've got a small percentage, if we go in and put a cage in your neck and fix it, that we might be able to fix your problems. I just couldn't do that. Surgery was not an option for me. I just felt that was probably the last thing I wanted to do on earth. If there was another way around this, I was going to do it. So I really started paying a lot of attention to the exercises, all the treatments, doing the physical therapists, the massage therapists, and all because my upper cervical doctor told me, with this type of treatment, this is what you need to do. It's going to help you get back to that momentum of being able to walk again and being able to enjoy the quality of life that you were used to. How far were we going to go with this? I couldn't tell you in the beginning. In the beginning, I had no hope. I didn't know. 6 medical doctors that really looked me over, decided after their diagnosis what my problems were. Some were just up in my head, according to some of the doctors. But the prognosis basically was I was going to be in a vegetative state, basically. Wouldn't be able to get up and care for myself. The type of personality I have, I'm an A-type personality. I'm not going to sit around. I need to make things happen. I'm going to go out there and do this, and I'm going to find a way. And I was blessed in so much that my upper cervical doctors were easy for me to find because somebody I knew. And they weren't just chiropractors. These were upper cervical doctors. They were able to tell me that my atlas was turned up and to the left, and my axis was turned down to the right. So with those 2 vertebrae that attach your spine to your skull, they were actually turned like this. And my neck should have broke on that initial impact, but it didn't. The rest is kind of the history of what I've gone through. It's been well over 20 years since I've been treating with her. But I got to tell you, for me, I don't know any other way. Upper cervical intervention has made a difference in my life. It's changed me. Wow. It's made me who I am today. Because when I look back at it and what it could have been, if I would have bought into the medical doctor's ideas and accepted what they said was the inevitable, I probably wouldn't be here telling you my story today. I think after going through all this that I've gone through, with both injuries, and even prior to the second injury, upper cervical care, I've recommended to almost everybody I know. I even have a brother that had a left shoulder problem for about 5 years, and I couldn't convince him that it was all in an adjustment. If he could get to an upper cervical doctor, which he found one out in Denver, through my doctor, which she didn't charge him for, she just gave that to him, that information. And my talking to him every time I went out there, he finally went this last December to that doctor.
Wow.
And he is pain-free today. And it was within a few adjustments. And in his words to me was, why didn't I ever believe you? If I would have thought it was this simple, I would have done it long before. And, you know, you have to tell everybody you come in contact what it's done for you. I'm modest in some areas, but some areas when somebody asks me, I'm very straightforward about what upper cervical care has done for me. Yeah. Because I can never begin to thank my doctors enough. I can never begin to say thank you, thank you, thank you enough. You're humbled every day when you see these people because you know they do it out of love. They don't do it because they have to. My doctor looks at me and can read my body language and know what's hurting. Now she'll go through and she'll check a few things here and there, but pretty much she's on the money when she looks at me. I think that I'm not telling anybody I'm in pain, but she can see the pain in my face when I walk in. When I'm walking with a limp, or when the shoulders really bother me a lot and I'm hunched over. I don't think I am, but she knows I am, and everybody in the office can see that. So yeah, you have to tell people you come in contact how it keeps you walking straight. There's a analogy that I heard somewhere along the line. I don't remember where it was from, but a upper cervical doctor was talking about kind of how the atlas was named, and it was a Greek thing, you know, and you know that's kind of like what supports the world. Well, along the line you hear other stories and other things about the head being a bowling ball or the center of attraction, and it's sitting on top of a broom handle, and imagine if it's balanced or not balanced. You know, these are things that you think about and you say, how can that be? Well, that's the reality when you look at the size of the spine. But I think when I look at it, and I talk to the friends that I know and people that I've referred to my upper cervical doctor, and those that have actually gone in and have been examined, and they come back to you and they give you a testimony about, why didn't I think about that sooner? I think it's been around for a long time. I think what the problem of it is the medical profession has some sort of animosity towards the chiropractors or to upper cervical spine doctors in general. Whether there's any salt to that or not, I don't know. I just know it's done good for me.